Yield. Thank you, my dear friend, for engaging in substance and not ad hominem attack. I very much appreciate that. Having said that, some of the payments, first of all, you said that there are lies in here. Can you find one factual inaccuracy?
So
there's not one.
For you to
in
tell
fact,
the
you're quoting us.
You're
quoting us. But let me make this point. Let me
That didn't go the way Democrats planned, did it? They marched into this hearing waving around a giant headline, $7.8 million in foreign payments to Trump, like they just uncovered the political crime of the century. The media loved it, the talking points were ready, and the outrage was fully preheated. There was just one tiny problem. Someone actually read the report. And when Representative William Timmons opened the footnotes, yes, the boring little details Democrats were hoping nobody would touch, the whole story started collapsing faster than a cheap political stunt. Suddenly that foreign money scandal looked a lot more like, wait for it, condo HOA fees and hotel bills. I'm not kidding. Luxury condo owners paying building fees somehow became foreign influence. That's the level of desperation we're dealing with. If exposing political spin wrapped in a fancy headline is your kind of content, hit like, subscribe, and stick around. Let's watch the full clip before I give you the full breakdown.
Recessed, we were discussing the ranking member's $7.8 million in foreign payments from at least 20 countries during his presidency, and I knew the answer. I knew that that was revenue, and it wasn't actually profits. Hold on, I will let you ask questions at the end of this. And you said, did I read the report? And so I did. And in the report, it actually specifically says these included payments from foreign governments and foreign government-owned or controlled entities to properties owned by Donald Trump, including Trump International Hotel in D.C., Vegas, Fifth Avenue, and this is my favorite, Trump World Tower at 845 United Nations Plaza in New York. So let's just use that one alone, because if you go down to page 20, footnote 23, it actually clarifies where this money came from to include the amount of money. And so what y'all did is you took a building that was built in 1999 and completed in 2001, and you have, it's 100 yards from the United Nations. So these foreign countries owned multi-million, $10 million, $20 million condos in one of the nicer buildings in New York. And I was just kind of shocked because I knew that you were using revenue and you weren't using actual profit that the president or the Trump organization made. You actually used HOA payments. Do you know how duplicitous it is for you to use HOA payments on a $20 million condo in New York? Like, it is outrageous. No, you can, I'm going to go through. We're going to go through all of them because you list them. And I see Saudi Arabia, $615, $422,000, Trump World Tower. And you go and you look, there's nothing there that is under $10, $12 million. So you're taking a $12 million property that was owned since 2001, and you're saying that this is somehow similar to Hunter Biden running all over the world and selling the big guy's influence? These are completely different things, and the fact that you even created this report and you're using it to shield us pursuing justice to make sure that this president is not compromised because his son has sold secrets to China, to Ukraine, is so disingenuous, it's so duplicitous. It's not even misrepresentation, it's a lie. I'm happy to hear this from you because, again, you told me to go read it. I read it. That's what it says. I can read you in footnote 23 where it says this report uses common charges or rent payments. All of these properties were owned prior to 2018. They didn't go out and purchase them because of the president. They were there for decades before this happened. That's the point. That's the difference.
Okay.
I'll let the facts
gentleman
get in the way of a good story.
Absolutely.
Would the gentleman yield? Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you, my dear friend, for engaging in substance and not ad hominem attack. I very much appreciate that. Having said that, some of the payments, first of all, you said that there are lies in here. Can you find one factual inaccuracy?
So
there's not one.
For you to
in
tell
fact,
the
you're quoting us.
You're
quoting us. But let me make this point. Which is that China gave $5.5 million.
It's Mr. Timmons' time. It's Mr. Timmons' time.
For you to tell the American people that $7.8 million went to President Trump is an outright lie. It's a fabrication. Hold on. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because you're using businesses that existed decades prior to when he became president. And
you're saying all of them?
Hold on. And you're using HOA fees for multi-million-dollar properties that have been around since 2001. And again, even the fees that they pay for hotel rooms, that is a fee for a product, for a service. There's no service with Hunter Biden other than influence of the vice president or the president of the United States, and that is why we are here, because he will not answer questions in the exact manner that you have required.
Now that you've seen the whole exchange, let's talk about what really just happened, because this was a perfect example of how political narratives fall apart the second someone actually reads the fine print. Democrats walked in with their big dramatic number, $7.8 million. It sounds huge, it sounds shady, and they were hoping the headline alone would do all the work. The plan was obvious. Tie that number to Donald Trump, hint at corruption, let the implication hang in the air, and hope nobody asks too many questions. But Representative William Timmons did something incredibly dangerous to a political narrative. He read the report. Not the press release, not the talking points, the actual report, footnotes and all. And that's where the magic happened. Because buried right there in the document. Footnote 23, by the way, was the part Democrats were praying nobody would mention. The so-called foreign payments weren't secret deals or influence schemes. They were routine revenue from properties that had existed years before Trump was ever president. We're talking about condos in Trump World Tower near the United Nations, buildings completed back in 2001. Foreign nationals bought luxury apartments there. $10 million, $20 million units, and like every other property owner on earth, they paid HOA fees to maintain the building. That's it. That's the scandal. Condo owners paying maintenance fees. Apparently in Washington now, if a foreign diplomat pays a building maintenance bill, it's a geopolitical conspiracy. Timmons called it out perfectly. Democrats were counting revenue, not profit, and they were counting payments tied to properties that had been around for decades. These weren't new deals created during Trump's presidency. The buildings already existed. The owners already existed. The payments already existed. The only thing new was the way Democrats packaged the numbers to make them sound sinister. And then comes the comparison that really exposed the double standard. Hunter Biden wasn't collecting condo association dues from a building built 20 years earlier. His business dealings involved companies in China, Ukraine, and beyond, with critics arguing those deals were tied to influence through his father's position. Whether you believe every allegation or not, that's a completely different universe from a condo owner paying a monthly building fee. But Democrats tried to pretend those two things were the same. That's not oversight, that's narrative engineering. And you could see the moment the argument cracked. Once Timmons pointed to the footnote and explained exactly what the numbers included, the drama disappeared. Suddenly the big scary headline didn't look so scary anymore. Because once you admit the number includes hotel bills and HOA payments, the entire accusation starts looking less like corruption and more like political theater. This exchange mattered because it showed how easily a massive number can shape public perception when the context is hidden. But the second someone shines a light on the details, the story changes. What Democrats wanted to present as a bombshell ended up looking like accounting tricks and creative framing. In other words, the scandal wasn't the money. The scandal was the spin. And Representative Timmons exposed it the moment he opened the footnotes.